green and blue wrap.
Camouflage.
That surprised you? See him like that?
Yeah.
Did you say anything, or did Justin say anything?
We was like, there go Dolph right there.
All right, what did y'all do?
We received the trailer. Received the trailer.
So y'all are following him on Airways?
Yeah, right over the street.
All right. And you saw the first part of this video, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you see him pull off here to the cookie store?
Yeah, he pulled in the cookie store.
What'd y'all do?
We made the block. Came with the bag weight. Came with the bag weight. I jumped out. We started shooting.
All right, well, let's back up here, though. We saw him pull off of Airways to here, is that right?
Yeah.
Y'all, can you see my little pointer?
Yeah.
Y'all would be traveling this direction on Airways, is that right? And then did y'all do a crazy U-turn or anything, or what'd y'all do?
Nah. We came with the back street.
Following the clicker, is this what y'all did?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to the light, made the loop around.
Did you see him get out of his car like this?
Nah, I ain't seen him get out the car.
Okay.
They actually talk about how this is the guy. Let's listen to what he says. Now, Dolph just went in the cookie store. He said they circled the block.
Yeah, this is right there.
Stop it here.
It's me.
He said, that's me.
We're going to back up. I wanted to, back up a little bit. All right. First guy out of the car, who's that?
It's me.
That's you? Which one of the guns do you have?
I got the little Draco style gun.
Okay, that's that semi-automatic weapon, is that right?
Yeah.
You ever shot that thing before?
Nah, I ain't never shot one of them.
Okay. You can proceed, Iris. That's your Gap hoodie, is that right?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. Who are you shooting at?
Don't.
All right, now back it up again, Miss Iris, if you would. Back it up for Justin getting out of the car.
That's one of the parts I wanted to talk about. He's actually saying, yeah, that's me. That's me that did it. And it's unfortunate of the situation. And what gets even more interesting is that what gets even more interesting, I want to see if I can find that the video real quick. But I've been following this trial, right? And I don't think I'll be able to find it right then. I should have did a little bit more research on it. But what I find interesting about this trial is that guy says that that guy says that the CMG record label paid his lawyer $50,000 to represent him. He said on another video that the CMG lawyer, the record label CMG paid for his lawyer, which was $50,000. And he also said that the money didn't hit his hand, but he know that it came from CMG. Now, if you really know how it really go for real, like, that puts Yo Gotti in it. You know, I think right now the only thing that Yo Gotti may be able to use as a defense is the fact that his brother Big Jook, now they said Big Jook is the one that put out the hit $100,000 on Young Dolph's head. So you see what the dude just said in the video. He said, there go Dolph right there. And they circled the block and came back and shot him up. And you do have to understand this. The reason why they're testifying is because they only got $800 out of that deal. So basically, they didn't even get the money. They didn't even get the $100,000 supposedly, allegedly, that was put on Young Dolph's head. Now, you do know why. You do know why they telling now, because they didn't get money. And on another video, I heard the dude say that the day before, he was promising his girlfriend that he was going to give her $10,000. And he shot Young Dolph on his birthday, on his daughter's birthday. And he was promising his baby mama the day before that he was going to give her $10,000. And he said on another video that they knew that Young Dolph was going to be doing turkey giveaways in the city. So basically, they knew to be looking for him to be in the city. You know, and that's an unfortunate situation. You know, a lot of rappers have gotten killed in their own city. And it's like, you know, when you really make it somewhere or you become successful financially, you know, can you really help? Can you really help the ones that's from, can you really come back to your neighborhood, your city? You know, because it's a lot of that going on, and that goes into my next. That goes into one of the things I want to talk about. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, they killed Young Dolph based upon promises. You know what I'm saying? Promises. This is another subject I want to go into. Poverty and how it controls the nation. Poverty. You know, here this man, here this young fella done took the life of another man just for $100,000. And I mean, $100,000 ain't even a lot of money. Somebody done lost their life for $100,000. You know, this a messed up situation. You know, people getting killed for money. And they getting killed for little money. It ain't even a lot of money. It's just a little money. You know, $100,000, even if you manage correctly, $100,000 will be gone in 1 year. $100,000 is not enough for you to live the rest of your life off of. It's just not. You know, and here it is, somebody lost their life for $100,000. This is why I was talking about with poverty. You know, it's unfortunate when you come from a poverty neighborhood. You would think that because of the way the world is, you would think that everybody, you know, they'll just make sure everybody got a house, everybody doing good, right? I was talking about this the other day. Like, if you really think about this, that's the way to wipe out the nation, is to keep poverty present. Because as long as there's somebody out here that wants some money, as long as there's somebody out here that want money, that need money, that's in a desperation for money, they will kill, they will do anything possible just to have that money. So America wants poverty to exist because that's the only real way you gonna wipe some people out. That's the only real way to get rid of people. You know, we kill each other for some money just to go buy some jewelry, to flex on somebody, not even really to do nothing with it, just to be able to show people you got money. And people losing their lives and people are being killed behind money. And when you think of the narrative like that, you know, America wants poverty to exist because that's the only way that they can really control the people. That's the only real way that they can control the people, is to starve them out. To starve them out. You know, and it's unfortunate that this man lost his life behind money. You know, and then look, in the long run, they didn't even get the money. They didn't even get paid. It's just unfortunate that situations like this occur, and it's very sad, and it's going to continue to happen too. You know, they said that the $50,000 came from the CMG record label. Now, the one that they claim that put out the hit for Young Dolph is Big Jook, and Big Jook is Yo Gotti's big brother. So, not too long ago, Big Jook was killed in Memphis during a funeral. After the funeral, he came outside and somebody did a drive-by and killed him. So, to me, I think, in my opinion, I think the only defense that Yo Gotti may have now is the fact that his brother is dead now. Because now what he have to say is that he didn't authorize any of that. That's going to be his only defense, to say that he had no recollection of that lawyer being paid $50,000 to represent the murderers of young Dolph. Because if not, this is an organized crime. Organized crime carry life sentences. You know, so this finna be pretty bad. this is going to be pretty bad. And you know, I was thinking the other day when I was listening to this, I said to myself when I was in my truck, I said, you know what? If they release those boys who murdered Dolph, if they release them back into the public, back to Memphis or wherever they from, if they release them back into the public, I guarantee you they won't last 90 days alive. If they let them go back into the public, them boys probably wouldn't last 90 days before somebody took them out. And that's probably why they telling. For number one, they telling because they didn't get no money. And then they finna go down for a serious crime. That's one of the main reasons they telling. And number two, they want some type of protection. They don't want to get back out there in the world. You know, the lawyer was defending this guy to basically get out. They don't want to get back out because they know what's waiting on them if they get out. They testifying to get some type of protection and some security to ensure that their lives will go on no matter what the cost is. That's what this is boiling down to. They trying to stay alive. And this is a bad situation. But, you know, I hate that, young Dolph had kids too. I hate that. Whatever this is about and why ever this happened, I wish there would have been a better way to deal with it. It's besides ending in gunplay like this, because it's a very serious situation. But, going into my subject about poverty, when it comes to the government in America, they want to keep us. Look, wherever there is poverty, there's violence. Wherever there is poverty, there is violence. Wherever poverty occurs, violence is occurring there. If you think about it, look at our neighborhoods. Some of the neighborhoods we come from, the poverty neighborhoods. If you notice, all of the loan places, liquor stores, all of the places that eat up your money, that keep you raging and fighting against each other, all of those places are located in poverty neighborhoods. They even sell the most guns in poverty neighborhoods. Did you know that? These pawn shops, they want you to pawn your stuff, and guess what? They got guns in there that you can buy. And they all right there in the poverty neighborhoods. Oh, you think I'm lying? You don't think that's true? Well, we in Texarkana. Tell me what gun place you can go to that's in PG and buy a gun. Most of the places where you can buy weapons are located close to poverty areas. Most of the places where you can buy liquor are close to the poverty areas. Most of the loan places where you have to borrow money are located in the poverty areas. All of those things that I just mentioned is a recipe for killing and violence. When you mix all of that together, there is going to be violence, and losing lives is going to occur. When you mix poverty, alcohol, and guns, on top of your situation that you struggle, on top of the bills you gotta pay, the frustration of having to survive. When you mix the frustration of having to survive, alcohol, guns, when you mix all of that together, violence is fixing to occur. Somebody finna lose their life. When you put all of those things in one household, somebody finna lose their life. And America wants to keep it that way because that's the only way it's going to restore balance, they feel like, to the world. I don't understand why it just don't seem, I don't understand why people just can't, why everybody can't get the same, everybody can't, even when you start off in life as an adult, you start off with bad credit. When you have no credit, you start off with bad credit. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Why is it that when you first start your life out, why you don't start with good credit first, perfect credit, and then if you make mistakes within your perfect score, it should go down from there. But they start you off on the downfall and make you earn your way up. And then if you go to college to try to better yourself, you know what happens? You get loans. And guess what? You owe that loan even if you don't finish. And most of the time when people are getting loans to complete college, they spend a good portion of those years into their career paying back that money. Like, when you owe money and the odds are against you, man, it's just, that's a recipe for disaster, a recipe for violence. Man, it's just messed up that the world is like this. I'm really just thinking about that, and no matter what you try to do, you can't avoid it. It's gonna be here, it's here to stay, and it's getting worse as time go on. The best thing for us to do is really get in our word and really trust God and really letting God be that God in that life for us, because there's a lot of things that's going to occur that's going to be bad that we're not going to be able to avoid, because this world is just out of control. Anytime a person is losing their life for money, it's time to bring everything to an end. Because, you know what I don't understand with money, though, is that in the long run, we all lose the money. Like, people be thinking that, oh, man, I got to have this money. I got to this. I got to that. Look, everything you have is temporary. Nothing you have right now. I want you to look at yourself. I want you to think about yourself. Nothing that you have right now, you gonna have when you die. It's not gonna matter. If you think your money matter, then I want you to do this. Take your money and go to the nearest graveyard that you see and bring somebody's life back to their body. If you think your money and material means something, go bring somebody that's dead back with your money or with anything that you have. Go out there and do it. that just shows you it don't mean nothing. You know, I wanted to talk about the young Dolph situation because it's just unfortunate, man, because the man lost his life for nothing. The man lost his life for literally like no, they didn't even get the $100,000. One guy said all they got was $800. And now you can't bring this man back. He gone. And I just was looking at that story and that just, man, it's just sad and unfortunate that that situation happened the way that it did with them. But they telling now because they ain't get no money, so now they finna tell on everybody. So their lives are still in danger as well because with the things that they're seeing, this is going to throw a lot of people on the bus, so it's going to get crazy. So ain't no telling what's bound to happen from this case. But that's enough on that subject. But I just thought about that, and it was just so sad. But what I want to talk about today, you know, I was on my way over here, and I was thinking about what I was going to talk about. I got a lot of different subjects, but some subjects I be needing people to dialogue with and things like that. And, you know, I was talking with my wife before I came, and I said, you know, I was thinking on my way over here, I said, you know, determination is the real key factor to our lives. Like, listen, even in the scripture, it says that those that endure to the end is the one that's going to win the race. And what you have to understand about endurance, it means that there are obstacles. There are things that you have to go through. That's what endurance means. It means that there are things that you have to go through that you can't avoid. Determination is realizing the things that you gotta go through and pushing forward regardless of what's happening. And I have to be honest with you sometimes. Determination, it can get discouraging. It's tough because sometimes you have to go on and you have to push through and you have to make it regardless of the circumstances. Determination is very tough because you know what I've learned, even with determination, you know what I've learned? One thing, people do this. A lot of people gonna talk you out there. A lot of people gonna say that they with you. A lot of people gonna say that they got your back until it's time for them to have your back. Until it's time for them to stand on what they said. They gonna say that they got your back until it's time for them to stand on what they said. So that's why I'm talking about determination. Because when it comes to determination, when you get out here on your own to try to better yourself, you are going to see that everything that was told to you and all the people that said that they was with you, they gonna fold. If it's 5 of them that said they gonna be with you, 4 of them gonna fold. out of 5, maybe one of them really will stand on it. And guess what? The one that will stand on it is probably that's the most unpopular one. The one you didn't expect. That's probably the one that's really going to stand on it. You know, that's the one that's really going to stand on it. But you got to be determined no matter what. You know, as you can see, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that God gave me the strength. I'm grateful that God has blessed me to be able to follow something that I want to do. You know, I'm grateful that God has helped me to be able to help my family. You know, I'm grateful of that. And God keep adding and opening up doors. But when God open up a door for you, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. I think a lot of people misunderstand that because they think, oh, well, when God do it, it's going to be easy. No, actually, let me tell you something. The odds don't come against you until you start beating the odds. When you start beating the odds, that's when the odds are against you. And this is the trick of the enemy. The enemy wants us to believe that there's no hope for us. The enemy wants us to believe that we can't make it. So when the odds are against us, we have the tendency to want to give up. Let me tell you something about this. A lot of times, the reason why you want to give up is because you are entering a new territory that you're not familiar with. And a lot of times, we want to go to where we're familiar and where we're comfortable. In the reality, you may not be comfortable on a new territory, but the thing is also is that you can't be comfortable if you expect to better yourself. Because look, as long as you're comfortable, you're not bettering yourself. You're not learning. When you're comfortable, you're saying you had enough. I know along this life, God has done many things in my life. And I'm going to tell you something. Right now, I'm in an uncomfortable situation. But I can see that God is doing bigger and better things, which it don't come easy. But I'm determined to get there. Right now, I'm in my own podcast studio. But last year I wasn't. So I'm in an uncomfortable state. But God is leading the way. So, and believe it or not, this was something that I always wanted to do, but I didn't know how I was gonna do it. It actually took my wife to say to me, because I had all kind of music equipment and stuff at the house, and one day my wife was like, she said, "You talking about me? You got all this stuff around here. What are you gonna do with it?" And I thought about it and I said, you right. I got all this stuff sitting around collecting dust, and I'm not doing anything with it. Why not? And I asked God, Lord, make a way for me. Lord, I need an office. I need to make this legitimate. And my dad has always told me about, like, man, he always said, man, you got all this talent, all this stuff, and And so you know what I said? I was determined I made my mind up this year that I said, you know what? I'm going to put everything I got, everything that I know to do, everything that I know to do, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to give everything I got, everything that I know to do, all the knowledge and wisdom that God have blessed me with, I'm going to use that to make something out of myself, and I'm going to use that to come out the hole. I'm going to use that to make my way up out of here, entrepreneurship, to be where I've wanted to be. And I said, God, just bless my hands. And, he blessed my hands, and he opened up the doors and made way. And he's still doing things, even though it's not easy, It may not look like much, but to do what I did, to be able to do some of the things I'm able to do, you really have to be disciplined, because, man, this stuff costs some money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want something, but they don't really know how to do nothing for themselves. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to determination, you got to make your mind up. And you got to follow that. And it's going to be difficult sometimes. But everybody's story is different. Everybody's story is different. I want to, I always said that I wanted to be able to take care of my kids and be able to take care of my family and still be able to do some things for myself. So when I went to truck driving school, man, I was determined. When I went to truck driving school, I ain't have no money. I ain't had no job. And where I was at, they had me out in Waxahachie, Texas. And every morning we would have to get out there and get on the bus. And the bus would take us this was like a regular school bus. The bus would take us to Cedar Hill, Texas, in the morning to go to the trucking school. And I was in there learning and, passing all my tests and stuff like that. And man, I couldn't even hardly eat, literally, because I just didn't have no money. It used to be a food truck that came up there, and I just didn't really have no money to eat. I was determined to just make it. My circumstances were so hard, and it just so happened it was a food stamp office right across the street from the hotel we were staying in. So when I went in there, I applied for emergency stamps, and they would give me like $190. They gave me like $190, and that's all they would give me for the month. I had to make that $190 last me for a whole month. And when we got out of the school bus would come back a few hours later, and it would take us to Walmart to do a store run. And I would go to Walmart and stretch that money out the best way I could to make it work. I would stretch that money out the best way to make it work. And I just want to testify for a minute, because I just want to show you that you got to be determined. A lot of people looking at looking at where I am now. They look at the Mustang, they look at my wife in business, they look at all the trucks and my daughter got in the car, and they looking at all the good stuff. But I just want to testify for a minute. You know, I was getting $190 a month on food stamps. So I had to go to Salt Lake City because they couldn't get everybody through in Texas. So I went to Salt Lake City, still getting that $190 in food stamps. We went out there, no money. Man, I didn't even really have a phone. You know what I'm saying? My bank account was in the negative. And on my last Mustang that I had, I owed on it. I was still paying the bank, and I was getting behind on my payments. So my credit started getting bad. So when I finally passed the test, that's when the company hired you and started paying you. And that took almost 2 months because of the situation I was in. It took me almost 2 months to get hired with the company. So I was in truck driving school about 60 days before I was hired as an employee. When I went over the road, they was paying me $10 an hour. And when you a trucker, you can only drive 10 hours a day. So I had to drive all day just to make $100. And I owed child support. I wasn't able to make my child support payments. And I had just went through a divorce. And I had a 2-bedroom house that I had to move out of. I moved my stuff in the storage because I had a 2-bedroom house. I had to move out of it because I didn't have no money. And I went out there over the road. I was making, after tax, I was making about 400 and something a week. I was making about 400 and something a week. And I didn't like it, so I wanted to come home. I had been gone almost a month. They wouldn't let me come home, so I came home. Then when I went back out there to get more experience, I went back out there with a different trainer. Man, I wish I knew the dude's name. Gosh, I wish I knew that dude's name. But this dude, it wasn't nothing but God, because the dude that I was with, he was like, I told him I was broke. I ain't had no money. And he was a white dude. Dang, what's that dude's name? It's bothering me. Please give it to me. Lord, give me his name. William Baker. William Baker. That's what his name was. He's on Facebook. It's a picture of him with sunglasses and a ball cap on. His name is William Baker. Thank you, God, for giving me that. But I was out there with this guy named William Baker, and he was like, man, I'll buy your food for you until you can get on your feet. So every time he stopped to get him something to eat, he would buy me lunch. I was broke. And I remember, I'll never forget, we was in North Carolina, and he stopped somewhere because he had people he was visiting. So I was in his truck, and we was parked at this place. We was parked behind this place that had truck parking, and it was a Bojangles restaurant next to that place. Bojangles is like a Church's Chicken, kinda. So it had snowed. So he got out and went with his people and left me with his truck. So I got out. I'm in the truck all alone. I got out. and I was walking around. I got out and I was walking around in the snow, kicking the snow, and I was hungry, but I didn't have no money to eat. And I walked up there by the restaurant, by Bojangles, and I had some warm-ups on with a cap over my head, a pullover over my head, and I was just sitting out there like, man, I'm hungry, but I felt so embarrassed. I wanted something to eat. I felt so embarrassed I didn't know what to do. And so I was sitting outside Bojangles in North Carolina, and I was hungry and I ain't know what to do. I ain't had no money. This guy came up to me and he was like, man, do you want something to eat? And I was like, yeah. So I went in. Man, I'm almost about to cry telling this testimony. But I went in and the dude bought me something to eat. He said, get whatever you want. And I ordered the food I wanted, and he paid for it. And then I came, my heart was just, it was like it was struck. My heart was struck because I felt embarrassed. And so this dude, I got to my table and I prayed for my food. And the dude came up to my table and he was like, are you okay, man? Is there anything else I can do for you? And when he said that, man, he convicted my heart, because he was a white guy. But when he said that, he convicted my heart, man. And I was just so grateful that I didn't even know what to say. I was trying to tell him thank you, but I was so choked up. I was trying to tell him thank you, but I was so choked up that it wouldn't come out of my mouth. And I said from that point on, I was like, I gotta make it. I gotta make it. And God had people out there helping me when I had nothing. When I had nothing, God had people out there helping me. And that's the reason why I return the favor by helping others. Because God blessed me when I didn't have a dime. He took care of me. And I said, I won't let this go in vain. So from that point on, man, I was determined to make it out there. Blood, sweat, and tears, literally. I made it through the struggles. So I know what it's like, y'all, to have nothing. And I know what it's like to have something and then go completely down to nothing again. I didn't even have a house to live in, but I was determined to make it. And God blessed me to get this far. So when you see me, when you see what I'm doing, when you see the things that I'm doing, it all is a blessing from God. I started off with absolutely nothing. So as God blessed me, I paid back what I owed. My credit was bad. I got me a secured credit card, started building my credit back. And all of that time that I was going through that, my wife, well, she wasn't my wife then, but Rashida was there for me. That's why, even though, you know, we may be doing different things when it comes to the way we think, when God blessed me, you know what I did? When I got my credit fixed, I put her in a brand new car. I helped her get her business going. I started her business for her. And now she her own boss. All of the things that we go through, all of the things that we endure, is for a purpose. It's for a purpose. You got to hang in there. You got to be determined. It's for a purpose. That's why I said sometimes when you're going through hard things, that's the best time. Because, see, when God blessed them, they won't forget you. When God blessed them, they won't forget you. Not only that, you know, my children, the scripture says, I've never seen a righteous forsaken nor his seed begging for bread. You know, my children, they don't have to worry about where my next meal comes from. They don't have to worry about. Even my stepchildren. You know, when I said children, I was talking about them too, but they haven't, you know, had a lot of support when it comes to a, you know, father figure, but I step right in and help them. I look at them sometimes when I'm at home. They on their phones. They just happy, not worried about nothing. And I say, you know, my circumstances wasn't always like that, so I'm grateful for that, you know, and I don't know how I end up going that way. I had to share that testimony because I'm talking about being determined. I had to share that testimony. That was a very heartfelt testimony. That was a real thing. And some of you are going through things similar to that. But I promise you, if you just determine and if you endure and if you just hang in there, God got a purpose behind what you're going through. God got a purpose. And it's good to go through. It's good to be in a position to endure, because the ones that really ain't for you, they gonna fall off. And sometimes you don't know who's for you until you start going through something. So it's good to go through some things in life. You know, I like to share, you know, I shared that testimony one day when I was at my wife's restaurant with some of the workers in there, and they was about to cry listening to me. But I just want you to know it's a real thing. I'm not sad, but it's joy. It's joy. Because I felt like giving up. You know, I felt like throwing in the towel plenty of times, but I hung in there. And that's why I'm trying to tell the world and help the world, like, hang in there. No matter what you're going through, no matter what your tough situation is, man, hang in there. It's going to get hard, and it's going to be hard because you're going against the odds. But God got you. God will have you. Just trust and believe in him and let him do the rest for you, you know, and just be determined. And God will do the rest for you. know. But I appreciate everything God did for me. Because, you know, when you going up the ladder, there are some times when you feel like giving up because things are not like you thought they were going to be. But you got to hang in there anyway and just know that God is going to take care of you. Remember, I just said this the other day. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. It's not supposed to go your way. The direction is coming from God. So if God is directing you, God is the one leading you. So if it's going your way, then it's you leading you instead of God leading you. And you don't know where you're going. Because in the scripture it says, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father but by me. God is the way. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what way to go, but God do. And as long as he leading you, he will continue to guide you into your purpose of where you need to be. I just want to say that tonight. I know my video wasn't that long, but I wanted to share that testimony. Hang in there and be encouraged. God bless you. I'm done for tonight.